Do you actually need whey protein to lose fat or to build muscle? If you log into social media, if you take a look at YouTube, it might look like everyone needs to supplement themselves with protein because everyone is used advertising the product, advertising the protein powder, advertising the protein bars, and if you take a look around, pretty much everyone is taking protein. But the reality is that it's not that straightforward. There's going to be a lot of cases when you actually don't need it, and you might be a lot better by saving your money and not spending it on whey protein or protein supplements. So in this video, I'm going to explain you exactly when you should be using protein, when you should not be using protein, and why this happens and how you can go about it. So before we get into it, we need to understand the amount of protein that you need, okay? So it's going to depend a little bit on if you're trying to lose fat, if you're trying to build muscle, how much do you weigh, how much activity do you do. But that's a rule of thumb, okay? That's a rule of thumb. You're going to need between 0.7 to 1 grams of protein per body pound if you're trying to build muscle, okay? This is going to be build muscle. And if you're trying to lose fat, you're going to need a little bit more. It's going to be around 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Okay, this is the general rule of thumb. Again, super generic. Some people are going to be a little bit on the 1.3 and 0.9 for losing fat, and 0.6 and 1.1 for building the muscle. But like that's a good ratio to be a good range to be when it comes to knowing how much protein you actually need. Now, when it comes to how much grams of protein you're eating per day, I have a really good distinction, and this is what we use with our clients, on who should be utilizing a protein powder, who should be utilizing a protein supplement. So if you need to eat less than 140 grams, by all means, don't use any powder. Unless you're a vegetarian or vegan, when in some of those cases, I'm not saying all of those, but in some of those cases, it might be beneficial just because it's going to make it easier for you to reach the protein goals, to use a vegan protein powder or something like that. But not even in those cases, like the majority of the cases, if you are under 140 grams of protein per day, it's going to be fairly easy for you to hit that as far as you are conscious about putting some protein in every single one of your meals. Okay, so this is going to be, let's say that you eat 3 times and you have like a little snack. If you have, let's say, 3 meals and 40 grams of protein per meal, plus 20 grams on your snack, that's already 140, and that's something super doable if you're a little bit strategic about it. So you should not be utilizing any type of protein powder. Again, if you're vegan or vegetarian and it's hard for you to put 40 grams of protein every single meal, by all means utilize it. But that's the rule of thumb. Okay, less than 140, not necessary at all. If you need to eat between 140 and 160 grams of protein per day. Now, this is when a protein powder should start jumping into consideration. Now, it is fairly easy to get to 160 grams of protein per day. Basically, it's going to be adding 10 more grams per meal. But sometimes, logistically wise, it's going to be easier if you use supplement the difference between this and this, like the 20 grams with a little protein shake. That's going to be depending on the logistics on your case, but by no means is going to be necessary when you're 140 and between 140 and 160 grams of protein. You can very easily achieve those numbers just by whole foods and without having to supplement yourself with anything. The next range is going to be 160 and 180 grams. Here, it gets a little more convenient. It gets a little more convenient because it's totally possible to get to those numbers with whole foods, but it's going to require a little bit more strategy on your side, on maybe even eating 1 more time per day. We have a lot of guys who reach those numbers every single day without any kind of supplement, but you need to be a little more strategic because, again, you're going to have to put between 50 to 60 grams of protein per meal to be able to reach that. Totally doable. you just need to think about it a little bit more. And now, when I normally recommend you taking a protein powder is when you need to eat more than 180 grams of protein per day. Now, can you achieve this with whole foods? Like in all the other cases, yes, you can. But when you get to those numbers, 180, 190, 200 plus, it's gonna be pretty hard to eat that much protein on a daily basis. You're gonna have to be really thoughtful about, okay, what I'm gonna have for breakfast, what I'm gonna have for dinner, what I'm gonna have for lunch. And adding 1-2 scoops of protein powder, which is gonna be, if you use a good protein powder, between 25 to 55 grams of protein, is gonna help you tremendously, because it's gonna put you from this level all the way down to this level, and which is gonna be super easy for you to reach your protein goals. Is it advisable? It depends on every single scenario and every single case. You need to figure out if it's gonna be convenient for you or if not. If you are on less than 140 grams, I would not suggest you do it, because I believe the less chemicals you put in the body, the better. So if you can fuel yourself only with whole foods, it's gonna be way better. But if you're over 180 grams, most likely because of convenience, is gonna be the way to go. By all means, if you're like, Eric, you know what, I'm gonna be strategic about my plan. I'm gonna figure out what foods I need to eat when, and I'm gonna hit those numbers with other protein powder. Congratulations, that's gonna be the best way to go, in my opinion, because you're gonna get a lot of other nutrients through the whole foods without the extra chemicals that you get from the protein powders. But this is how you should be looking at the protein powder and protein supplements. By the way, other than protein powders, other than whey protein, all these protein bars and protein joggers and all those things are fine, but make sure that they're not just marketing to you, because I see a lot of times people buying protein bars because they have protein on them and they don't realize the amount of crap that they put in there, and they're actually not helping them achieve their fitness goals, because it's going to be like 2-3 grams of protein, and second of all, they're going to be putting a lot of crap on their body. So be really mindful about it. If you're going to be using protein supplements, make sure that protein supplements of quality. Isolated whey protein is normally a really great option. Make sure that it's at least 82 to 85%. So that means that it has less crap, and it's gonna give you more protein per your bag, and it's gonna allow you to hit your goals a lot faster and a lot more convenient. So that's the breakdown. Hopefully that makes sense for you. Hopefully you are able with these numbers to figure out if you should be utilizing a whey protein supplement or not. And if you shouldn't, man, don't use it. Save your money, invest it in, I don't know, a good meal for yourself, invest it in whole foods, and you're gonna be a lot better. So hopefully that helps. Like we always say, if it did, if you have any questions about it, just put it down there on the comment section below. And don't forget to tell a friend about this video if you think it's gonna help them. If not, don't share it. All good. Hopefully, I don't know. If you're watching this video this long and you didn't find it helpful, like, bro, you do something else. All right. I'll talk to you in the next video. Take care.